also don't like knowing that something is not known.
Hmm. I that kind of reminds me of certain aspects of the Hermit, actually. It's the whole kind of uncovering. Well, there's two aspects of it. One of them is there's beauty to be seen in the unknown of the universe, and the other one aspect of it is that there is greatness to be seen trying to find that unknown. So it's where you want to take it, I guess. The Hermit is a very strange god. I will say that.
I feel like I lie maybe in the middle of those two views.
Mm-hmm. And it also provides counsel too, which, in a way, I think that you could probably take good strides in. And just the strive for wisdom above all else. That's another aspect.
Yeah.
Actually, actually, that is the one thing. In Navalvale, there's that big importance of the saints, but you were in Port Valiant for a bit, so you might have picked up a little bit of stuff the about the gods. I mean, still Port Valiant was the what is the phrasing of it? Ah, she thinks really hard about it, and you've probably, after speaking with her for a while, you understand that Honey grew up with like common as a second language, and so she has really hard times trying to say stuff that isn't in Aquan. And like, I guess you would say like it's the appetizer plate. You know, get a little taste of the Coterie Coast, but the main course will always be Far Albion Trading Company.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But I was just thinking about if you would fit more with the teacher or the hermit. I don't know. But it's all up, I mean, it's all up to you. You can follow whatever path you want. If it's the path that you want to choose, or get a little bit of guidance from a little divine compass, it's all up to you. It's all up to everybody, actually. I'm not here to convert anybody. I mean, the only religion I would ever make is she takes out her little bird and puts it proudly on the table and starts scritching it because she needs to feed it in the morning. Would be this. Look at this holy symbol right here.
She's just scratching her asleep owl on the table.
And as it's waking up, she's taking a little bit of food, probably some of the seeds and stuff from the fruit, and giving it to him, and then cuts off if there's any. If there is any tiny meat, she would cut it off, but if not, she would take out some of the rations and a little tiny bit.
I think rather than following any spiritual guidance, I do better just following my own instincts.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's no problem with that. Having belief in yourself is just as valid as having belief in a higher power. I mean, sometimes people who have belief in a higher power take it to the extreme and they become arrogant in it, and they use that as a crutch. So there is that balance point, and sometimes people who have high belief in themselves end up being the same thing. So I see no difference if you believe in yourself or if you believe in a deity or a saint. There's a humbleness to be found within belief.
That's true. As long as I think generally your moral compass is on track, really doesn't have to matter that much what all of the drive comes from.
Mm-hmm. It's just comfort sometimes is what strives people to seek a power, be it themselves or something else.
I find answers comforting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
Don't we all? Eliza is such a fucking vigilante superhero. I find truth comforting.
That's literally what I'm going for.
So
Yes.
every time though, it's so good.
She doesn't have one, but we just see a cloak of billowing just fluttering behind her every single time she goes into that mode. And then it's gone. We're like,
She said fits perfectly into a speech bubble, and I love it. Like, uh, okay, sorry, carry on, my bad. I'm just saying, I'm over here.
God. But there is one thing I can at least take from this. It was through different means Saint Ava did bring us all together, so that has to mean something, right? Probably not all at the same time, and I'm definitely sure we all stumbled through it, but well, we're all here. So let's go see where her story takes us.
Yeah.
Eliza nods.
Then we have an airship to wait on anyway.
So the airship has the teleportation device? Or is
It's one of them. Oh, okay, so what Tarana was saying was that there's a. I mean, I don't even know if we have the teleport. Okay, yeah, that's something definitely that we'd have to invest in if we have that teleportation circle thing. But anyways, yeah, back to the point. Tarana said that in this particular inn, as a teleportation circle that leads to I guess our headquarters in Avio. So once we find that, we can just instantly teleport over there. I feel like she's gonna meet us there, but yeah. So we just have to make sure if everybody's woken up, because we got that sleepyhead over there, and then we got your sleepyhead over here, and then we should just we should be. Oh wait, oh my gosh! And I will look around. Where is Sunera?
You give me a perception check.
I'm like, oh no,
Oh shit.
Sunera, no. 14. I would have guidance that because I'd be like giving a quick prayer. Oh my gosh, where did she go? 16.
You see that you can't make her out right away because when you look up, again, it's like that cross hatching is over the top of this the inn where you're at is called the Promenade, and it makes this horseshoe shape, and it's got this cross hatching that's covered with vines over the open seating in the middle of the horseshoe. And you're sitting out there eating breakfast, and when you kind of look up and around, you see through the cross hatching and the vines, and you can see that she's actually sitting up on the outside of the roof of the second story of this building. Kind of looking off somewhere in the distance.
Okay. Is there a way for anyone to easily access that, or did she just?
Looking at it, no. There's no roof access.
Okay. All right. I'm just gonna set some food aside and put it on the balcony. Just and I will. Oh gosh. She doesn't have sending there, but she will just make a quick whistle and just gesture to it afterwards. It's just like, food's right over here, just to see if she captures her attention, and then she'll just go
It's
inside.
the same keen, loud whistle that used to bring so many of the classes to a silence back in Battlepunk. And she looks down and sees the plate. And you see as she kind of like pulls from around the other side of her a small little plate with grapes on it, and then sits it back down next to her.
Did there only seem to be grapes on there? Like, was
Only grapes on there, you know. Oh, she's a vegetarian, by the way.
okay.
okay.
I don't think she would have ever brought that up in a conversation, but I feel like you would have noticed
Yeah,
that.
yeah, because Hannah would have been like internally. The first thing she would have said probably when she was younger is, "I didn't know you were a bird," seeing as Sunera always ate food like fruits and
Yeah.
stuff.
Right, she's always perched somewhere eating fruits and
And
shit.
I was like, "Wow, look at that!" Young Hannah would have been there. So I would
Yeah.
have said, knowing that, I probably had the hankering that she was probably more of the monastic. I will find enlightenment through eating of Kishara's harvest instead of meat. I would have put a bunch of like some of the dragon fruit and all this other stuff there, and just shrugged. And well, I would have brought it up a little bit higher to show it's very appealing. Then I brought it down and just walked away. Heck yeah, that is something actually I need to have. I'm very, very concerned about, and I think I need to bring it up to Sonera, but Pridwin used to be on the island a few times. I don't know why, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, he definitely knows who I am. I mean, when he was staring at me in the hospital, kind of just said that. Just the way he talked. But he also, since Sunera's father is the head of the temple, I'm pretty sure he knows her too, so I don't know what this means. I have a feeling. I mean, I know there's a bounty on my head. It was taken down momentarily at Port Valiant. I don't know about. I know there's a bounty on her head. More of an underground bounty that the Ashfall have on her, so if, I don't know, if anyone ever wanted to cash that in, information is the way that the world revolves, so. Yeah, I'm concerned. Let's just say that.
Well, he's lived as long as he has. I don't think he would personally care. I think he was more surprised that we were there messing with apparently what is his things.
Okay.
Yeah. And you two tend to have this way of being indirect, so.
Yeah, but I'm really bad at talking, and I'm really bad at lying, and those are two things that I'm pretty sure somebody who's lived for thousands of years can smell out and capitalize on that. I think the saying goes. So yeah, what are we gonna tell Pridwin?
Nothing unless he asks.
Sure. But that's the other thing too. And she'll pull out the Fortune's Favor and put it on the table. After I grabbed this, I was trying to fiddle around with it, me and Zale, and it seemed to have at least caused Gwen to remember something. She mentioned something about A. Pridwin, and that this was his favorite flower, or the color of it, and I think there was something involved with painting. And there was a lot of these at that at the statue that we went to briefly with the waterfall. There was a lot of them there. And that was, I think, the statue of the Forgotten Saint, right? I don't know, I think I'm mixing things up. But I do remember that. Was it? What did Marcellus mention that it was the temple of the statue of the Forgotten Saint?
Yes.
Okay. So, here's the one thing. What this one flower did, because I was sitting on there, I mean, the one thing that's able to survive so long is actually, Sale managed to put it in holy water. So it's a very strange flower, and if I remember correctly, Hanu will state this, that it does. Yep, okay. And it only can be grown in consider like blessed land and all that other stuff. It's good luck, usually brought to weddings. Pridwin said that was his hospital, and there was a lot of these around there. And if this is his favorite flower, And he liked it so much, it must have meant that it meant something else to somebody else. And usually, when you have grave sites, or at least down at the coast, when we have effigies of our ancestors, we put stuff that was their favorite in life. I don't know what his tie was to the Forgotten Saint, or if this is actually the Pridwin of that tale. But there's gonna be, I think he's gonna want answers, especially with the stuff that we just saw down there.
If the skeleton, or if the skulls down there were telling the truth, he was alive when Saint Eva was doing her thing.
Mm-hmm. And then somebody hurt one of her best friends, or at least one of her followers, and Pridwin was very mad about that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, what if this is the favorite flower of the Forgotten Saint? I mean, if her tomb is underneath the hospital that has all of this stuff there.
Just because I want to double check. Did Ava say that it was her flower that Pridwin showed him, or was it
No.
his flower? His favorite flower?
She just said it was his. It was one of his favorite flowers. Yeah.
I was, because I remember it being her saying it was her favorite flower. I don't remember that.
No, she said that she was familiar with this flower, and then she recalled that it was Pridwin's favorite flower. He often used to use it. Things.
Okay. Just wanted to double check.
Mm-hmm. So.
She did seem rather fond of the flower herself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we really wanted to tell Pridwin anything indirectly, just ask him when was the last time he truly appreciated this flower.
Hmm. Yeah, that might be so, but you did cuz after Hanu went and looked into the scrying bowl, she actually whatever she saw, her base instinct was to just draw it out cuz that's what she did her training in for, like, whenever she was made to scry things. Did Sale mention anything to people? Because she had zoned out afterwards, and then she had asked to go outside. Because after the moment passed, she just got hit by the stuff that she just saw.
No, she pointed it out to Babette and Eliza.
Okay.
So both Eliza and Babette would have looked into the bowl.
Okay.
Eliza, so after your group went into this temple hidden underneath the hospital, you got into a fight with this mummy lord, and he teleported the entire group all the way to the top of this mage tower in Uhratian, where you all are now. And after beating him in a fight, group kind of looked around the tower and realized that somebody else had been there not that long ago. Like it might have been days or weeks or months, right? But somebody had been here. And they had these scrying bowls set up, which were these circular bowls that, when filled with water, actually allowed you to be able to see through into the temple you guys had just got done exploring, all the way back in Avale. So somebody had been spying on that temple from all the way over here in Uhratian. But whoever had been doing it had long ago left. When looking into one of those bowls, it allowed you to be able to look right into the tomb of the Forgotten Saint herself. And looking at it, it looked like a garden that had become rotten. All the plants were overripe. There's buzzing flies all over the place, and it's just filled with bugs and overripeness, rottenness, and flies. and in the middle of it is this sarcophagus that was made out of the roots of a tree at one point. The roots are all dripping with this black ichor, and the sarcophagus itself is now empty. And instead, planted into the middle of it is some sort of rod fixed to the top of it, a humanoid skull. And that was the only thing left in the temple or the tomb of the forgotten saint.
And I think if I remember correctly, the rod itself looked like a spine, of just like the full spine to the.
Like a spine. So it looked like a spine and skull had been turned into some sort of rod and then planted right in the middle of the sarcophagus, almost like the way someone might plant a flag somewhere. And the entire garden that was around that sarcophagus, which had once probably been quite beautiful, looked overripe and rotten and was just teeming with flies. Just this constant bzzz the entire time you're scrying in through that bowl. And even when you pulled your head out of the bowl, which is like, I don't know if you've seen the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah.
You know, when the bowl in Dumbledore's office where you put your head inside of it and it like takes you to a different place. Very much like that, where you put your head inside of it and then you pulled your head out and you can still kind of hear the buzzing of those flies. And that was just last night before you guys went to bed. So that's probably the last thing you would have remembered. And it probably definitely would have kept you up. Imagine your dreams were filled with of weird things of the last several weeks. Really crazy stuff about clocks and mummies and flies and answers that you don't have yet. Interrupting this breakfast conversation.
Mm-hmm. Were there a lot of fortune's favor in that tomb too that seemed to have withered, or just regular plants and plethora of them?
There was actually. You could still see them growing up on the mound around the tomb itself, but there's like there's lots of worms and stuff in the soil.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. As I'm telling this, I'm probably just watching Eliza's expression because she was one of the few that had looked into the bowl.
Eliza is like staring kind of blankly, like she's not seeing what's in front of her anymore. She's seeing that again in her head.
I will actually reach out and cast Calm Emotions on you. Hey, come on, wake up.
Calm Emotions is a 20-foot sphere area, by the way. You could just do it in the entire room, it's just calm.
Well, yeah, but she's a very physical type of person, so even as she casts that, she's still trying to make human contact to bring Eliza back, just like patting her on the cheek. Hey, come on.
Eliza just like she comes back to you. Like you can tell she sees you now.
Yeah, sorry. Didn't mean to bring that up over breakfast, but that's something we need to keep in mind.
Yeah.
But have you ever seen carnage like that before?
I don't think so.
I mean, I'm not the best person to have a gauge on reality since I have so much dreams, and most of them do involve warfare and stuff like that. So I've seen stuff, but that was something different. I mean, I have a picture of... I have trouble trying to figure things out that haven't been normalized to me, because I've had a weird, very unique upbringing of being connected with my ancestors and what they have seen throughout life. And
pulling out your drawings?
She has her drawing out. She hasn't opened it up, but she also doesn't want to, like, hey, show to Liza, remember this! But I will glance over to Cack and be like, you got a strong stomach? I say, standing full up straight like a commander would.
Depends.
Well, if you want to look at what I saw in there, it's in here. She'll pat to her her sketchbook. And then all of a sudden she'll just notice that there's probably a lot of other sketches in there and be like, wait, okay. And folds it over to the one that's, the next one that, she folds it over to something that's on top, and she'll just say, like, it's the one that's underneath here. But as you do as you've noticed that the one thing that's on top is, holy shit, wait 1 heckin' second, it's actually a very detailed sketch of, Hanuamaka, her little tiny small owl, but actually that's wearing armor right now. And it is just looking very strong and prideful in a stance. And let me go find a picture so you guys can recognize what he kind of looks like. But as she does that, she'll be like, if you want to see something that may or may not mentally scar you, it's right underneath this one. But don't worry, my dream owl will protect you if you need it to. It's one of the only reasons why I have good dreams. Well, that's kind of wrong, but still, it's one of the only reasons why. Okay. And I gotta go search for, through a lot of pictures, but don't worry, guys. I'll find it. But yeah, other than, I mean, just like, you know, when that whole thing that happened in Yokeshi, you know, and that explosion happened, I've seen enough images in my mind to push that away, and I've kind of realized that not a lot of other people have had that upbringing, so they can't react as quickly and push things aside as I can. It's like I've been conditioned by my ancestors to see the worst that humanity can bring and then just keep marching through it. Because there is still good at that, after that fog of war, I guess it would be called. There still is good in the world if you just manage to brush aside all that fog. Anyways, yeah. Oh gosh. Gosh, dang it.
Looking at the pictures you drew, though you do not remember having drawn it or written it before, there is script on it that says Orcus over and over again, just drawn across the top of all the drawings you did of those scenes.
After a while, Hannah would furrow her eyebrows for a bit. Now she's just like flipping just to make sure she had the correct page, and then just stops for a bit and tips the sketchbook more towards herself. Huh. Interesting. And whenever I used to do that at the temple, I would record things that I wasn't aware of at the moment, and it looks like I did that too over here. Ah, wait a second. Okay.
That's
Anyways,
fascinating.
as she's having this this whole thing, this very intense expression, you will see that this bird is staring back at you guys throughout this whole time. And that's what she's drawn her, it's an inspiration. That's what she has drawn with her tiny sleeping owl.
I like how that's on one page, and then like death incarnate on the other.
I know, it's just, yeah.
So cute.
I usually like to draw him before I do certain stuff like this. I mean, and you actually, as she flips this, she would have actually seen that, as a lot of other places in the world would probably start with like the cover being the front of it, she actually starts drawing stuff from the back going forward. So it's kind of just the Japanese way and the Asian style way of like books and stuff. So you could surmise that she drew this afterwards if people are familiar with with Umidori readings and stuff.
The good old manga.
Mm-hmm. So she drew this in terms of if anybody else was looking at it, they would see that and then flip over to this one to see a little proud bird. And behind him is just a little forest thing. And there would have been just like a little scene of him tearing down an angry wasp's nest. And the wasps all of a sudden looking very ashamed of what they did and flying away.
Owl Knight wins again.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you read this in the correct way, in the Omidori script, you'd been like, oh, that's nice. You look at it the other way, holy shit!
I love it.
Going through Hanu's book is like going through Reddit 50/50.
Yeah. But, yeah, anyways, yeah, Kek, if you want to watch that. She also give, like, a side glance to Zarb and be like, nope. Anyway, it's like, oh, no.
Someone kind of peeks over, you're like, no, honey, no.
No, it's just a bit, but she will show you probably show you and put her owl right next to it. It is a very uncanny resemblance, I have to say. Anyways, she'll just slide it over to Kek. Mm-hmm.
So you said
It's
something.
depiction of a rotting garden that is now the tomb of the forgotten saint, with its wand of Saint Orcus planted right into the middle of now empty sarcophagi, and scribbled all over the top of this picture is the word Orcus, 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 Orcus.
What does Orcus mean?
You were told that your uncle apparently was following Orcus.
Yeah, you found out that so in that Armageddon prophecy that Killam had during the last arc when you guys were in Port Valiant, he that apocalypse dream that he had showed that one of the Marvesies, one of your family members, was actually like responsible for terrible things going on in the prison, and that he was doing it on behalf of some cult of Saint Orcus. You guys obviously had him, taken, arrested. He's denied and actually turned himself in without any issue. And none of the stuff that was going on in the prison was discovered, except for the fact that one of their allies managed to escape, or two of y'all's allies managed to escape Tirana and Rome from the prison where they'd been being held. And Matthias is still underneath, is actually now in the prison he used to run fight clubs out of. Because the gauntlet that he has his name from, your uncle Matthias had the nickname of the Gauntlet because he runs this fight club called the Gauntlet out of the prison in Port Valiant, and now he's actually a prisoner there. As much as you can be a prisoner in your own prison, but
And the other references to Orcus we've had was one of the priests that took one of your cousins, or that where one of your cousins worked, like that Church of Saint Ava on Port Valiant. The main priest there was mentioning how he was doing all these horrible things for Orcus, and I think we agreed that Hanu killed him.
No, Libby did. Hanu
killed him.
Hanu was being. You would have noticed that Hanu was being a little bit more. You've seen how she fights, but it kind of like was a switch that flipped, as she was doing a lot of warrior tactics of hitting a vital area to get him down as fast as possible. So
we had that, and also recently, while going through the dungeon underneath the hospital, a reference to Orcus was made when talking to the skulls. I don't remember the full of that personally. It was Orcus was one of the main issues of what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
What went wrong here?
Pridwin Orcus had betrayed the group and had the Forgotten Saint cut down piece by piece, and that Pridwin was chasing after him. Apparently, he was responsible for that.
And now the fourth time that we were seeing Orcus is Hanu apparently actually wrote down that name many, many times while making that drawing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So Orcus an asshole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, if I am making the correct assumption of the scientific method, she'll look over to Kak, because, like, I use that, and her expression is, I use this in the correct phrasing, right?
It just gives you a slight nod, just...
Mm-hmm. I think I can surmise that this Predwin has a beef with this Orcus, and that this Predwin is the Saint Ava's Predwin too. So he's definitely not gonna like what's down there at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure he is not familiar with what's going on in there, because that whole place got compromised. There are a lot of threads. Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't think he mentioned spiders being down there.
Nope. Those spiders were...
And Dusk mentioned that those weren't supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And they're not even supposed to be... There are certain creatures in the world that are natural, and then and set by Kishara's dream, and then there are types of creatures that were the creation of the kindred. And Ettercap seemed to be one of them. They're dealt through pacts with fiends. Failed pacts, if anything, and then they become those kind of... I think they would be considered monstrosities.
Whatever there.
Yeah. So, Ettercaps. I'm just gonna double check that. Yep, they are considered monstrosities. Okay. That's right. So yeah, those were not from Kishara's dream or nightmare. Those were something created just recently. I don't know how recent, but at least my grand said that they were with her at least 1,000 years ago. So I feel like if we don't say anything to Pridwin right up front, he can either...
Well, I mean, we should just let him know that somebody's intruded on the dungeon before we did.
Yeah.
Dusk can validate that because we ran into those Ettercaps.
But I think the other thing too, I mean, you could have Dusk go inside there, but I think we have like the keys to the place.
Yeah, we have like we unlocked that fight and we ended up in here in Uhratian.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So I don't know if you can go in there. I mean, he probably does have a like a back door to go in. Maybe that's how maybe that's how the person got in there. Well, tombs are supposed to be sealed for a reason, one way. At least properly.
We should let Redwin know that the tomb was intruded on further.
Yeah.
So.
I think he probably would know. I mean, if I was able to figure this out with just through my scrying vision, I'm pretty sure he knows Orcus's modus operandi, right? Did I use that correctly? She looks over to Kak again.
Just gives us a nod.
Okay.
Kak, we need a Arcana check.
Oh.
Con
Just
check.
a con check or a save or
Just Arcana check at advantage, because...
Oh, Arcana. Okay.
Yes, Arcana.
I thought you said con, and I was like, oh god.
Oh. No, Arcana.
You throw up all over her picture. No!
So, um, you would be able to surmise that the reason this, having seen those scrying bowls into that place that you knew couldn't be scryed into, would have like itched your arcane curiosity. Uh, Um, it's actually pretty simple. The layer effect that he has on that place there, being one of his layers, uh, actually created a loophole in a way. That most people probably wouldn't even be aware that existed, but now that you've seen it in action, you realize, oh wow, duh. Um, that if a creature has a lair effect in multiple areas, that person can actually act as like uh, a focus point for divination magic. So you can actually scry into places that are into other planes, or even across great distances into places that are usually protected against it. If you are in one of the layers of this, applies to strongholds as well, right? So if somebody has more than one stronghold, somebody can be in another stronghold and do scrying on one of your other strongholds. So there is a bit of a vulnerability there. So somebody could theoretically infiltrate one of your weaker, easier to infiltrate strongholds, and then use that as a backdoor to be able to see into all of your other ones.
So if any of them have the capability, they can see into all of them, even if the places themselves are protected, because it's a sanctioned area.
Yes.
Which, if CAC relayed those,
Well, yeah,
Well-
of course it would.
well, that could be something to also let Birdwin know of.
That any of his other hideouts are compromised too?
How many bulls were there?
I think six. I think six out of character.
There were 6.
Okay, yeah.
That's a lot.
6 of them.
Birdwin may want to know, because those might lead all the other locations he's holding on to.
I mean, I was thinking. Oh, snap! Oh, okay. Sarmin! Okay. So you got that vision from St. Eva, right?
Yeah.
That the spear was there. I don't like using things as, as bargaining tools, but I was gonna actually ask the hermit with divination. It's been a long time since I've actually casted it successfully. But I was gonna ask if there, like, a question of if we could. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm stumbling ahead of myself. Long story short, I want to make sure that we can still get the sun spear because we just got teleported out of it before we get that. So I wanna just see the success rate of what we can. Maybe if we use this information, because this is something that he would need to know of right away, that we could trade the sun spear, especially if we just, state that we are with, and technically we are an ally of his.
I mean, no point in trying to draw lines away from him.
Yeah. I mean,
He rubs me the wrong way, but
we both have a common enemy. Orcus has already made life horrible in Port Valiant with Eliza's family. I still don't know the full connection between her and her uncle with this Saint Orcus. And we managed to convince Dusk to at least not tell him our intentions of finding the spear.
Well, I forget. Didn't Dusk already mention the Pridwin what we were doing?
No, he only just mentioned, he didn't mention the spear itself. He just mentioned to the last time that as he went to go talk to Pridwin, Pridwin just gave us the go-ahead to go advance and search. But we don't know if Dusk actually mentioned anything in character to Pridwin.
So we never got that. Okay.
Yeah, we just saw Dusk look very shocked and just retreat, and then come back saying, "I think."
He gave the go ahead.
Yes, it was like, or just saying that Sunera's, she's doing okay.
Yeah. So pretty much he got permission to see if we can adventure further in.
Yeah. So,
As far as we're aware.
yeah. So I mean, we managed to convince Dusk. If Pridwin already went on a war page, no, rampage. That's what it's called. If he already went on the rampage here, his attention is going to already be focused on that. And knowing that his strongholds, I think Keck had said, is compromised, us keeping the spear safe would be in his best interest.
Of course.
Yep.
It would make the most sense.
Yep.
No way he could protect it if he was all the places he would be able to keep it safe has already been known.
Yeah, and I think we kind of just like destroyed his main guard of the Forgotten Saint. So yeah, he might need more.
Kind of was a little rough, I'll admit.
It's an understatement.
Yeah, the flames were intense that time. I don't know.
I didn't want to bring this up at the time, but you kind of did like the same. Oh, I can understand with the mummy because it was able to like regain health points, but you kind of did smack that ogre queen upside the head pretty hard.
In the heat of the moment, I remember who's behind me. I just don't want you guys to be hurt. The faster I end up, the better.
Okay.
Much as I don't like doing it.
It's admirable. I will just double check with Zarman. I'm just gonna insight to see if oh, holy shit. As I just said that, there's a lot of resource count stuff that I just noticed as I went there. Got all my resource count boxes here. I was talking smack about it earlier. Yeah, I was just like, oh shit. All the resources here. Okay, I'm gonna scritch my owl and look at Simon to see if he seems to be emotionally distancing himself as he's saying that. If there's kind of any self-hatred in there, or if he's just stealing himself, saying, "No, this is the role that I've taken up." So, let's just see how he's, what I can glean from that. $24.
I mean, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
There's been a lot of death around us, hasn't there? I don't like losing people. But we managed to avoid a great catastrophe in Port Valiant because we took a life. But there seems to be a creature out there that's willing to take lives for the fun of it. Destroy them. There's protection, and then there's indulging in the act. What are your thoughts on this, everybody? lengths are we willing to go to protect ourselves and each other?
Yes, well. I have grown quite fond of you all. Especially you, Hanu, with your kindness and wisdom, albeit a little bit odd.
She gives you a very sagely nod.
Now, at the end of the day, I suppose we're all in this together, and we do what we can to keep it that way, I guess. That is how these sort of things work, yes?
Yeah.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah.
Yes, so, I believe that is a good thing, and I need something to drink.
Do you want this nasty tasting wine? She says, pointing over to her ration wine. I mean, it's not nasty, it's just, it has this kick to it.
No, no.
Oh.
I'll just stick to water.
What about you, Eliza? Have you actually taken a life before? I don't know if you're saying anything, Sarah, but I can't hear you.
Sorry, what?
Hanu's just asking if you've taken a life before,
Oh,
or if you're willing to, if it is for the greater good.
I've never been faced with that position, but I'd like to think that for the greater good, I'd do anything necessary.
I feel like there's a war approaching. And the war makes many people do things that they normally wouldn't do. Lines get crossed, morals get bent.
You're not wrong.
I don't want that to be used against us. I think if we stay true to seeing the good in the world, at the end of the day, hopefully we make the right decision. But I know for sure we're not going to go down this path. She points over to the owl that she, well, the path underneath there. We're still going to go on this path. She says, reiterating, tapping the owl on the beak and also tapping her sleeping owl on his beak too.
No, I don't see us ever taking that path.
But I also don't want that to scar us too. There is still good in this world. We just need to make sure that those people don't try to use our kindness as a weakness. Sometimes there's a moment that we need to make that tough decision and defend others. I don't know what these followers of Orcus are going to say or do, but they don't seem to have any regard for human life. I'm not sure about everybody else, but I don't have any regard for that mentality. So I'm willing to strike down anyone. And I've been brought up in a way that I'm able to make that decision without a second thought. So if you guys want me to, I will do the final strike. I can handle it.
Talking absolute nonsense.
How so?
Didn't I just say something about us being in it together?
I know, but if nobody wants to have blood on their hands, I'm perfectly fine with having some on mine.
I'm sure everyone appreciates that, but I'm pretty sure I just said something about us being in this together.
So do we all, like, hold the trident and do that, or what? I'm actually kind of confused.
That's a really good question. I wonder how that. Hmm.
At this point in time, Sonera floats down the tray of fruits that you tantalizingly placed out before her and says, "Don't worry. Good people never have to choose to take a life. The circumstance is thrust upon them. You won't have to vote for it. You won't have to all awkwardly hold a trident. You'll all carry the guilt. That's how it works."
Ah,
Sure,
see,
yeah.
someone knows what they're talking about.
She'll eat a grape and sit down next to everybody at the table.
That's right. There's no way of getting through this world without having blood on our hands, but if we all share the burden together, at least we can get through it. New blood and old. I don't want the defenseless to get hurt anymore. She was defenseless. She was just resting in a tomb. I don't know what she did before in life, but she did not deserve this. Nobody deserves to get hurt. Whether you're young, you're old, you're asleep, you're defenseless, you're strong, you at least deserve to fight. To have a chance to fight. But once people take away that chance, and they choose to not give others chances anymore, they know what's right and wrong. They're ignoring that. At the end of the day, I'm not going to allow that to happen.
At this point in time, Kak and Eliza are distinctly aware of the way that Hanu speaks of this desecration of this tomb as if it were almost a murder. And as if the person that had been in there had been resting and alive, not a person left interred after having been killed, as you have so far heard. Zale, Zarman, and Hanu would know that if Pridwin had been in love with this person and they had been placed away, then that was very likely Arthur's mom that was sleeping inside of that tomb, not interred or buried there. That being information that uh, Arthur kind of contextualized to them before the CAC switch and before meeting Sarah and all that.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So yeah, Cat and Eliza will find it extremely weird that she's talking about it as a live person being murdered than a dead body being desecrated.
Yeah, see.
Which, I mean, in a way, the way that Hanu currently talks about her ancestors, she still talks like they're alive, but that's also like a water genasi thing too, so you don't know if this is
Exactly.
like a cultural thing or her just being like, guys, this was alive, kind of thing.
Very true. Very true.
So, yeah. But also, Kak would know that Hanu's ancestors are still technically alive.
Yeah, well, and that's it. Like, Cactus knows you talk about people that way, dead or alive. Like, and he's not really a people person, so
Yeah.
as far as he's concerned, that might just be a you thing. It might be a popular thing. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
And on top of that, he actually doesn't really see much of a difference between a tomb being desecrated, whether someone's alive or dead. Like, it's just.
Yeah. Yeah, at this point, she's just also Hanu's kind of like desperate and looking at Tucinair and whispers to her in Celestial, I have no idea how you're able to do this 24/7. She says.
Sleeping some of those hours.
Oh.
She replied back.
I thought so. Okay. Still, I don't know how you're able to do this. I always failed that class, actually. Okay. She's gonna look over. I have no idea if my point got taken, but I hope it did.
Well, how was your morning been, Sarah?
Me? What?
Around the scrolls, yes. The place we're looking for is not too far from here. Perhaps a 15-minute jaunt.
I will also just fold my fingers across again like I did a few probably 30 minutes ago and be like, this is one thing I never actually figured out. Did you actually take a class to levitate? Was I never, like, invited to the class? Because I've never seen anybody do that. The temple. I'm gonna take your silence as the fact that I wasn't invited to the class. I understand, she'll say, dramatically looking out the window.
Oh.
Sunera, no!
Oh, so sad.
Yeah, Hanu asked Nara. So I never got the class of how to hover. Was I not invited? Then you disconnected from the call.
just turned invisible and floated away.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh.
that was pretty much going to be the response anyways.
Just, nope. She'd be like, I'll meet you there. Like, no. Okay. Well, I think the sleepyhead should wake up soon.
Yeah.
Probably should get ready.
God, I know he was here for a little bit, but then
He was laughing when he disconnected, so he's still around.
I'm just been listening.
Yeah.
I've just been listening.
Mm-hmm.
Watching us could go in the background and just listening to you guys at the same time.
Okay. Well.
In whispers.
Shit. Yeah, sure.
Oh no.
Why not? What's with whispers to me this week, man?
I don't know, man. Well, anyways, sorry for bringing the conversation to a very sour direction. But
it was bound. Sarman was
there. Well, Hannah's saying this in character. She's like, sorry. But I feel like we need to figure this stuff out sooner or later. Yeah.
These are things that happen, and there's nothing you can really do about it. It's fine.
I just want people to have that choice.
I'm sure everyone appreciates that fact.
But in order for us to regale a better sense of pride and empowerment, my ancestors fought in a civil war. There was a lot of points in time where a lot of allies of theirs, at least to one of my uncles, who was known as, I forgot what his name, okay, I will post it in chat eventually, but I don't remember. Oh, wait, Juhai was the surname. She says that right off the way, but I forgot about Feng.
It's fine.
Juhai Feng. I was from the Crane Village, a noble. As much as a noble could be at the time in the south, he did have a lot of allies in Jobinyan. But when the Civil War broke out, he had to look down the battlefield. And I don't think he was able to face them alone, which is why he was glad. Well, I think he always knew that he would eventually have to face down his people who he saw as friends in the battlefield, which is when he met my actual ancestor and his brother. And she's having a really hard time of trying to discuss, like, familial ties in terms of in common and stuff. It's really easy to explain this stuff in Aquan, oh boy. Anyways, but he made an allyship, a brothership, both in spirit and blood, with my ancestor and the other brother. Uncle Bamboo didn't really see. He reluctantly, and she'll nod to his arm, and reluctantly struck down people when they were trying to assassinate him, since he was seen as the leader of the rebellion. He sometimes had to strike down his own friends that he grew up with. It also didn't help that his wife was a spy too, so it got really weird in his household. Anyways, but my ancestor, Uncle Tiger, they took a lot of the brunt of the front line away from him. He was seen as the ambassador of sorts, the face. Uncle Bamboo had a very kind heart. And the other two Storm brothers were known for being wise, known for being very cunning and ruthless when needed to be, but in war you have to be, to prevent loss of life further. Try to stop battles before they even happen. There were some instances where the North did take some horrible tactics and try to hurt civilians. There was one There was one general in particular who had that, and she'll tell a very small tale of a very ruthless general in the north that did sacrifice his own army just like they were cattle to slaughter, like kind of. And there would be a term I would think in Jalot, kind of like a Pyrrhic victory of sending the losses to have one victory, kind of like you won, but you lost everything in the process. It was just. I mean, that person took pride in that, though, that they were able to get results no matter the cost. I don't want that to happen at all. So I think if we put all our heads together, I think we can overcome like the South did. Anyways, I say, oh, okay, they're still sleeping. And she'll just keep on going on about the tale about, about how it was in that moment in time when her great ancestor, the Storm General, managed to get himself captured on purpose so he could stand at the feet of this one general. And because her ancestor had accrued enough respect in within there, that he was only allowed to be there with a single weapon, and he chose that to be a sword of his. Her ancestor was known to use a glaive called the Quan Dao, and she would actually summon her spiritual weapon and stick it to the side to her and try to do her best pose as some of the if she's seen her gramps do. And she'll be like, and in that moment, as he was bowing his head down to get his head decapitated a second time, mind you, my gramps looked up, gave a nod of respect, and then as he stood up on his feet, he took out his sword and he decapitated this cruel general.
Oh. Well then. Didn't expect that.
I mean, the fact that my gramps got his head cut off like almost twice, well, I mean, he didn't get his head chopped off the second time this time around. This was like a few decade before that. But it was actually one of the tides that turned the war into the South's favor. One cruel person fell down, and the North was spent so many years scrambling to try to change their tactics. Instead of using their soldiers as just tools to gain war, they had to think differently. And then this is when the South started to push forward, and the Northern Army went back to the capital, and they held that point for a few good years until the fighting happened again and the shift was brought back down south. I think a lot of spiders were used. I don't remember. Oh, no. Okay, no, the spiders were something totally different. But anyways, yes. That is the tale of how sometimes one cruel person can fall at the hands of a simple warrior. Arrogance, well, I think, is going to be people's downfalls.
That's, interesting.
Mm-hmm. He actually told me that one. It's one of his favorite tales. I mean, it's also in the tale of this book, and she takes out another book, she puts it down there, and you'll see just a really ancient depiction, kind of Chinese painting of the Storm Brothers, of the Southern Zhaolan Civil War. And it's on chapter 30. Second paragraph is where it starts. And it's about like 7 pages long if you actually want to read the whole tale. I'm pretty sure I said it like not page by page per what is that word when you say it like directly written out of the book? Heck, I'm at a loss right now. I'm trying to expand my vocabulary, but it's really hard.
What?
Perverbum? What
it
is
looks
that?
Really confused for a moment. Like, huh?
Perverbum? I don't know. What is that? It's a very fancy word. verbatim, right?
Yes.
Eliza, you seem very smart. What does
Turns
verbatim mean?
around.
I'm at a loss for
Just
words.
takes a sip.
I don't know. I think it means exactly as written, right?
I'm not going to lie. I normally just refer to it as such.
Mm. Okay.
I think you're right,
Oh,
but
okay.
look, I'm not one for fancy words. I just like to say things as they are. At least that way everyone understands.
Usually when I say that, I got in trouble a lot. That's really hard. Actually, Eliza, and I'll look over to you. Have you ever gotten in trouble by stating the truth?
Dun dun dun!
I will swing the spotlight on you like they do in those cop movies. Ah,
In trouble for saying the truth?
yeah.
Nah.
Oh. Was it the way that you said the truth? Because I think that's probably where I stumble. I can be very crass about it.
I guess there is a there can you should sometimes have a certain tone.
Mm.
Crass is probably not the way to go.
Oh, that was young me. I was quite rough and tumble. Actually, were you the same when you were a kid too? Or did you change? Because I got a big personality change when I was growing up.
I don't know. I think I've always felt like me. I bet Dad
Yes.
would have more insight on whether or not I've changed. I've always been pretty much this way.
Okay. So if I ever have to have you to lie for me, I think you'd be able to do it, right? She says, giving you a very stern look. Well, lie for me by telling the truth, because sometimes when I tell the truth, it's very blunt.
Yeah, I mean, I could help.
Okay, that's good, okay. She's looking off in the distance, being like, oh, okay, interesting. I mean, I was having the lieutenant teach me about lying. But maybe I can ask you to help me tell the truth in a very gentle way. Would you be willing to do that? To help me out with that?
I can definitely try.
Okay.
I'm not much of a teacher, but I guess it comes naturally.
Okay. I mean, if you want, I could just observe as you talk a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, and that'll be good. Okay.
That makes sense.
And you probably would have noticed throughout like the whole dungeon that Babette and Anu were constantly like doing this whole we were giving each other advantage on insight checks and all this other stuff. So you would have seen that we'd be both not conspiring but like mumbling to each other, looking to the side and doing all that other stuff. Like, well, you're actually pretty insightful too. So, I mean, if anything, I think you're a little bit more insightful than I am. If you don't mind, I'll probably be around your shoulder a lot more often than I was before, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
Alright. And then I'll just watch as you talk to people. Because actually, you had. Okay, what is the strangest. Not interrogation, but what is the strangest line of questioning or strangest person that you ever had to chase down as an investigator?
Well, there was this one incident, and I never ever found the person. But Roxy, she said a drunk man came into cutting investigations, and I don't remember exactly how she put it, but a different gray man came out of him and was gone.
Wait a second.
Wait a minute.
How gray was this man? Was
She?
it just like clothes or everything gray?
It sounded like about everything. Roxy's She's great, but she's not very descriptive.
Mm. Okay, okay.
I really would like to come, or to find that guy. I wish he would come back. Could get more leave.
You start stroking her chin like she has a long beard too. Be like, I don't know. I think if we put our heads together, we can figure this out, right? And she looks over to Zarman and Keck.
No reason why not.
Just like how I figured out who had poisoned your fish, Keck.
What? What are you talking about?
Oh yeah,
Keck.
yeah. Yes. Never mind. That was totally different. Okay. I think we're on the right path. But I just need a little bit more information, but we can trace down this elusive gray man who walks out of people. Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to get in touch with Roxy and see if maybe she has more details. But
Okay. I mean, yeah, there was a lot that was on your plate that time, too. Yeah. Anyways. Hark! Do I hear Zale shuffling around in his bed? Say out of character.
No, he's still asleep.
Okay.
You did. He's just rolling over. Sorry.
I know, it was like, oh no, I don't think Zale's ever slept before. I think once, I think he was saying that he's really bad at sleeping. I wouldn't gotten up by now. She's just looking at Zale, just like, huh. I think he's a wimp. Can't handle his sleep.
Well, I'm just concerned of why he went fully to sleep.
Did I have noticed, like, his got, like, anything around? Like, did there seem to be, because originally what I had did is, before
He did mess around with it and say that he needed to, like, work on it a little bit, but, like, you didn't really notice anything
But,
messed
like,
up with it.
what I had did before, though, knowing how the desert does get a little bit chilly, is before I went to sleep, I would have given him my winter blanket, so, like, that would have been tucked around him and stuff, but did I notice that kind of go askew, throughout this whole thing?
Nope, seemed pretty fine. Old thing just matched his hand like normal, and his old other little thing on his belt.
Well, honestly, what I think, maybe it's just like this weird thing for like teleportation that, when you go through certain time areas really fast, some people get really tired, I think. That usually happened. I mean, I've heard it be happen. I think they call it jet lag.
What the hell is jet? Makes absolutely no sense.
I don't know. Victor said it one time, but I mean, Victor says a lot of things.
It's a strange man.
I mean, I tried to catch him on the ship, before all that stuff happened. I was just talking to him because apparently he stumbled out of a painting, and he was just saying something that he was trapped there for like 5 years or whatnot, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense at all, it's been 15 years. But anyways, he was saying something about jet lag is weird.
I think jet lag refers to when you've gone really fast
Okay.
for a long time
I mean,
and then stopped.
okay, no, I mean, we have a saying in Aquan that is, she says something in Aquan, and then she says, which roughly translates to, a race with a squid, because they make that big jets, she makes motions of, that actually definitely mimic that of a octopus and a squid swimming, and then kind of just do that. So that's what I think of a jet. And then you got another type of water jet that's like, she'll take shape water and mimic a jet like kind of thing. And then there's another type of jet, which is, she'll say knocking again, which is the jet stream. So I don't know with this jet, like, it could be so many things. I don't know what's the correct thing.
She's just smiling and nodding, like, yeah, all that.
Okay.
Which with shape water, you can actually make little patterns and shit with water, so you could actually have like a legitimate like water creature come out of your cup that's small enough.
Exactly. So she would have mentioned long time ago that like there probably would have been other Polymana that we've met across, or like people who do shape water for like druids and stuff, or Eliza would have seen it. But Hanu's actually extremely adept at it, and she would have explained that. Yeah, I've been shaping water since I was born. It's probably one of the benefits of being Takaro's chosen. She would have said back in the day. So she's just having fun making all these water creatures and stuff like that. Anyways, but I do like your idea. It's probably something that goes really fast. So, I mean, he likes to go like. God. He likes to gotta go fast.
How do you say it? Say it. Say it.
Sale just likes to go. Just gotta go fast sometimes, you know. I don't know.
And that instant, Cell test walks right behind Hanu, being like, "What do you mean I go fast?"
What? No way! I thought you were asleep over there. What happened?
I mean, I guess you're bad at hearing.
I was shaping water. I'm so focused on water right now. You know this about me now. Okay.
Say the person that would say, "Oh, I guess he's still moving his sheets, huh?"
Yeah, he's really weak sleeper. I say, and she makes
a
a little
wimp, huh?
she makes a little flick, and I don't have it over here, but she will try to water bend water all right back there. So
No, he's right behind you. He like hugged you around your neck because he did a dust walk right teleport
I
right
don't know.
next to you.
If you pinned her arms, she still is able to move her hands, so she'll just she will try to hit you with her water that she's been making to jet. I do have her had water proficiency with this before, so
I mean, with shape water, you launch water harmlessly up to 5 feet away. So I mean, you could just have the entire cup just jet into his face if you wanted to.
I mean, if I really wanted to, I could try to see if Chance will let me take all the water in the cups to do that. Just
I'm attached to you right now, so I hope you don't like yourself getting wet.
I mean, do you think Hanu cares about getting wet?
I know, she's
No, I'm just saying.
Water is a luxury here.
I mean, you should probably roll to see if it's actually like one of the 2 juices that we each got, or if it was the wine.
I know. So I will
Just start jetting the weird wine into his face.
all the fluids. Okay, so I will do a one. It's technically a saving throw because she's good at the shit. So.
Same though.
Well, for her to hit her, for her to hit you. So I'm just gonna do wisdom. Let's see how well I hit you. She gave you a pretty. Oh, yeah, it's right over there. Right.
Yep, it was under.
Well, this is to see. Originally, what I was doing with this whole thing was it would be like badassery points. I was saying so. It looked pretty good. Not as best as it could be. She managed to get you, but it's not like a clean hit in terms of who you are. So you probably ducked out of the way for some of it. So it's like, it got torso, but probably for your head. She probably got like half, like a third of it there, since you ducked away for it. Just.
Thank you for the wake-up call.
Mm-hmm.
Dabs his head, but still kind of leans on the back of your chair.
Okay. Anyways, and
What are you guys talking about?
she struggles to get up actually, and then she'll just fall backwards with you. Yeah.
Well, we were just mentioning it. I was concerned of what happened to you.
I mean, oh, looks like there was a malfunction in my device. That put me to sleep. So that was fun. I did kind of hear you say, Hanu, "Oh, this is weird that you're sleeping." I thought he never sleeps. He always shows off. When was that again? Because I was like thinking time-wise.
That was probably like a good 30 minutes ago, I thought.
Huh.
She would have stayed, like, it would have been off the top of her head. She would have stated it later. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Okay.
Oh, wait, so you were able to hear me talk all the smack about you? Hmm.
Only a portion of it.
That is quite the shame. Oh, I am very embarrassed about that. So embarrassed. I'm very
I
sorry.
know you love me.
I'm very
He
sorry
just says
about that.
He just says that. He just
Mhm.
doesn't seem he minds at all.
Mm.
What else you guys were talking about this morning?
Nothing important. Apart from something about what was it? Oh, no. Everyone holding a trident together or some such. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody holding a trident together. Look at Eliza. What are they talking about?
Exactly what I said. Didn't you hear me?
Yeah. I think
Hmm.
sleeping gave you, like, cobwebs in your ears. You need to, like, and she makes the motion of somebody taking, like, trying to hit water out of their ears. And you gotta do that, you know.
Are you sure that's the only thing you're talking about, Hanu?
We talked about a lot of weird stuff, like the state of the union, the state of our moral ambiguity, the state of history and time, it seems.
We were talking about a
Not
lot
wrong.
of things.
15. What's your deception?
I mean, she's
Roll
half,
deception.
she's half telling the
She was
truth.
lying at all.
I mean, she doesn't need to roll deception if she's telling the truth.
Was he telling the truth to me?
Well, I will. Do I just do a base? I don't know what's going. Yeah, I'll think I'll just. Oh no.
See you, Sarah.
Sarah?
Take care, bye.
Bye.
No, I'll just do a charisma to see. I just do a regular, just base charisma to see how willing it is. As it comes
I
across.
mean, it's not like you were saying anything you would believe to be a lie, so you wouldn't have to roll anything.
Okay. Yeah.
If you really wanted to see if he's just reading you right as a person, you would just do passive deception.
Okay.
So
Which
it's
would be
your deception 10 plus whatever your deception.
I have a +1 in persuasion and a +0 in deception. So yeah, she's telling
So
the truth.
As long as you rolled higher than a 10, he knows that you're telling what you believe to be the truth.
Yeah.
You're not being entirely untruthful there. You're just
Like, I don't know.
No, she's doing the Hano thing.
But also,
so just
like, State of the Union, she probably was. That was probably a stretch. But it was like,
I mean, out of all of them, that was the only one that was kind of weird.
yeah. Just kind of.
Out of character, she's just heard that being said a lot growing up in the temple, so like that sounds important. Everybody always talks about that. So apparently, every conversation it's State of the Union, whatever that means.
So I'm guessing then we thought about what we're gonna tell Pridwin, huh?
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, he should know that all the places he has under his control has been compromised.
Yep.
Zarman. You know who was in there, right?
Yeah.
When how Arthur was talking about his mother beforehand, and then realizing that Pridwin was his father. Do you think that was his mother down there?
I believe so.
This Orcus fella. Definitely not a good person. Alone. I we're gonna tell Arthur that. Unless he already knows. And if that's if that happened, where's Arthur?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm
Does that
pretty sure.
mean
I'm pretty sure our Predwin would like to find that out too, but for a different reason.
I honestly feel like that might Tirana deserves to know Arthur a lot more than Pridwin knowing who Arthur is, at least at this moment. He's already going to be so focused on his love of his life that I don't think he probably even knows Arthur is another child of his. He already lost one son. I don't think he's going to like knowing that he lost potentially another one. That might break him.
but I don't
The main thing is just making sure that Tirana probably knows at this point things are getting more serious about it.
Yeah, I feel like we should definitely tell Tirana about this. I think I have a way to approach this.
Predwin will have enough motivation as it is for Orcus.
Exactly. We just tell him that the Forgotten Saint has fallen once more. But I feel like I grew up a little bit, a brief time with Tirana and her brother. I think I know a good way to breach the subject with Arthur and Tirana.
You should probably let Arthur know first, then Tirana. It would be better if they don't learn it at the same time, I think so.
I mean, at this point, I think there's nothing that can surprise Arthur.
Right. I think he would take it well first. But I think if he was prepared for when Tirana learned, he would be better off.
Okay. I mean, do you guys want to tell him? Looks over to you both.
I could tell him.
Okay. Wait, about his ma or about Tirana being his sis?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Preferably space. Do that one at a time. Don't do both at the same time.
No. I know. But if that's the case, then never mind. In any case, we have to get back in there anyway. Get back anyway, so it's more time to think about it.
The most important thing that we should not let Predwin know, if we can help it, is who Arthur is.
No, of course. I'm not suggesting that. I think maybe I have a good idea to help Tirana unwind a little bit this week. Because she's definitely gonna be on edge knowing that her father was in the room. Probably maybe next week or the week following I can breach the subject with her.
I can probably do something actually with Arthur. Actually, it might make it easier to tell him about his mother.
Okay.
Probably go on a little trip. I kind of need a little bit of a getaway.
Sounds about right. Well then.
And of course, Predwin would like to know about that loophole Cac figured out.
Well, I feel like the thing about that though is he might have known it, but I think Bretwin was either too blindsided or too arrogant to think that that would have ever been a liability to his place. But yeah, Keck, since you're very good at talking about magic, explain to this young boy over here the ways of the world. She'll ask Keck to reiterate what he told us about the,
It just,
the thing.
it just looks at you like the ways of the world.
Of the arcane.
About the scrying situation
Mhm.
that happened.
Oh, specifically the scrying thing. Yes. All right. Well, there's this thing called scrying.
Hanu will
case you weren't
nod very
aware.
enthusiastically. Yep.
I'm aware.
And basically, what it lets you to do, the very fundamentals of it, this scrying, is it lets you see things or places or people, and in some very advanced forms of it, it lets you see what they see, or exactly where they are, or what they're doing, or who they're with, and it'll just go on muttering unless you actually interrupt about
So let's
every
say.
little detail.
So what was the thing in the ruins? I know it was scrying, but what did you find out?
Oh, specifically that. Well, there were these They were bowls, weren't they?
Yes, there were 6 of them.
Yes. Well, they let you scry things. He's very vague about it.
Okay, but how do you explain that it went through Prudwin's protection? You set up countermeasures.
Well, apparently
Because-
those don't work when it's in one of the places that he controls.
Yes, because
If it's in a
magic.
place that he approved of, he was able to get past the countermeasures. Or whoever was looking into those bowls were.
And then I mean, we know who, but I don't think you get permission or approval from Orcus from Prudwin.
Well, you don't need to if you're in one of Predwin's strongholds, apparently. And Zarman looks towards wherever the scroll spire we came from was.
So a back door into.
Zarman nods. I'm guessing the other 5 bowls led to other places of Predwin's control.
For a man as smart as him, he left a kind of big back door.
Well, Hugh, that's what arrogance does.
Indeed.
Mm.
But he should be
Predwin to
way
know about.
smarter than that, though.
Is he?
I mean, from what we can tell and what, because I'm not the only one who thinks this was also this Prudwin was also the same Prudwin that was Ava was talking about, right?
What? No way. I have no idea. Whoa, this is brand new information. Sail, you've been sitting on this whole time? Wow. She says, looking up at the ceiling, like, oh my gosh.
Anya, I love you.
Mm.
But never mind. But if that's the case, this man's been alive for thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he should have known that eventually there would be a. If he left the back door, that back door would be exploited.
Well, from what Cac described, that's not a thing that occurred until we saw what happened. It's not a normal thing to think about. Cac's just weird.
What?
I know, what?
No, I
Nothing.
don't think Kek's weird. I mean,
What? No way.
you
I'm
try to
confused.
put a failsafe or some kind of defense and security around that back door, so you can use it, yes, but then someone else can use it. That's just what you do. But
Well, here's the
Why?
one thing. It seemed like Orcus and N had history before. I mean, if anything, who says it was could have been this like the temple that he originally went into? He
I mean, the
knew
damn
the
thing he
orb,
did in there was a fucking statement if I had
so he
seen anything.
he knew where one of his temples was. He must have known where the other one was, and that one probably had lack of security because we still don't really know how Orcus got his forces in there. Could have been by force. I mean, it
There
seems
was
like
that whole.
Orcus is as old as he is at this point.
But yeah, for the most part, whenever I've heard anything about Predwin, he just sounds stuck in one perspective.
I know.
Do you think he thinks often about what other people can do from those positions?
So kind of ponders for a minute, for a second, and he gets a very kind of sad look in his eye. No.
Living a long time makes you think of things in a direction you can understand.
Yeah, he is so much on his high horse that he thinks he can only be looking for arrows. He didn't think that somebody was going to sky strike him right off the horse.
And so we tell Pyronin about this Orcus guy resurfacing, a long enemy and nemesis.
Yeah.
He goes on a warpath. And what about us? Do we want to get involved? I know from that vision that kill him had, plus the other kind of evidence we have, and especially what happened at Port Valiant, that Orcus is definitely involved.
Yeah. That was the other thing too. Oh gosh, yeah, I'm constantly forgetting. I still need to go do some divination, but yeah, Zale, what we were trying to think about is we can make a deal with Bridwin about the Sun Spear. But he's going to be focused so much on trying to figure out how Orcus came there. He can't look over the worlds all at once. He has strong magic, but he is way too focused, as Zarman said. We tend to stumble across things. We can rely on information.
And of course, we offer to watch the Sun Spear since all of his places have been compromised.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the question, just for future. Do we want him on our side?
It's best.
We don't need to draw a line when it's not necessary at the moment.
We don't need him
Not
to
the
be
moment.
our enemy. Whatever that may mean, we can figure that out along the way, but if he was a friend of Ava, there had to be some good and kindness in him. She spoke fondly
But this
of him.
Orcus, though, he's an enemy?
I'm pretty sure he is.
Okay.
Considering he was willing to sacrifice a whole island, I don't see how that could have benefited the kindred in any way.
And I'm guessing if we run into any of his followers would probably be the same way. That disregard of life.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that has me skeptical of Pridwin is if he regards life.
Might have it again. Maybe it's like fear. And the world, the rest are just tools.
I feel like
It's hard to tell.
if he had owned a hospital before, he had to constantly be funding this for who knows how long. I feel like he had appreciation for life, but he's caught in a cycle of vengeance that he forgot the beauty of it.
Could be.
I
In any
mean,
case,
I met
what's-
his son. His son had to have learned his vibrancy from somewhere.
I mean, I don't think he was a bad man in the beginning. I don't think anyone really is born evil except for rare occasions, but usually you become more twisted as things progress.
I know.
Especially if you live a long time.
Yeah. Loneliness.
People are made of their circumstance.
Yeah.
If he ever wants to walk out of it, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah. Loneliness and pain can cause many things. I think he's been alone for a long time, considering him and Toronto do not seem to look eye to eye. But then again, I don't know how time works for elves, so I don't know.
So then, what's the plan if we encounter members of the cult Orcus?
There's nothing we can do for any devoted members, but if there's any who aren't as devoted, best we can do.
And the devoted ones?
Do what we must, whatever options they present to us.
Mm.
Kind of like the Zarman.
And Zarman, as he said that, looked fairly sad.
Where's this conversation happening?
Oh, Babette! You're a
Who's
slip!
this?
Darn it.
Right
It's,
as-
it's happening out in the promenade.
I probably could have heard like what I just heard.
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah. We, Eliza and I were like looking at your bed to see if you were doing the whole. I snuck outside and there's a bunch of pillows there, but you were asleep. So yeah, you probably would have stirred awake by now.
Cool. So yeah, upon hearing that conversation, I don't think any of you actually said Pridwin while I was here.
Nope.
I also have a quick question for Chance. Sorry to interrupt the RP. I want to join. I just need information.
Well, we can always bring you up to speed. That's what we're doing with Sail right now.
I also have a quick question to Chance about what it was that I knew about Pridwin.
Oh, okay.
Nothing. I mean,
Like-
he's a really old elf that's been around for a while. He pays money, but you've never done any jobs for him. You don't know what kind of jobs he does. You never even really knew his name until you saw them apply the name to him. He's just
Yeah, I have like a vague knowledge
he-
that he at least knows or pays for my kind of services.
you know that he moves in the same circles that you
Yeah.
do.
He's a sketchy motherfucker.
And then
Yes.
the only time you've met him is through the game so far.
Yes.
Yeah. Zarman sounded sad when he said that.
Kinda. Still leaning on like Hanu and kinda like.
So yeah, after Zarman said we'll do what we must, Babette would likely just kind of butt in and be like, that sounds like a hesitant way to say we're gonna fight a lot of people.
Specifically killed.
Yeah. Seems to be a word that you guys don't like.
Do you like
Look.
the word?
It's not a word we don't like, it's just we haven't experienced killing other, I guess you could say kindred people. Kill monsters, but not people.
I've killed a lot of monsters as well, just some of them happened to be people.
Well, Zell wasn't using figurative speech.
Literal.
Yes, I know.
At the end of the day, I don't think anyone enjoys killing except for the most broken of people. And it's not something that we want to do unless we absolutely have to.
It's more in the case, I guess the conversation was more of, if we have to though, there should be hesitation.
hesitation will get you killed.
Yeah.
Possibly. And sometimes it's better to hesitate and risk it than it is to do so unnecessarily.
Right. If I didn't say anything before we had met Rum there, that would have been a lot harder going on than it was.
Very true.
I mean, I would have just knocked him out because he was just sleeping. He wasn't doing anything wrong.
I mean, I wasn't thinking about I was gonna knock him out actually. But, you know, what you say is true.
It's important to approach the situation with discretion.
Well, here's the other thing too. We have a lot of spells that can hold people, and we can always use that, and bring them to questioning. We also have spells that can gain the truth. There's a lot more versatility that we have now that we didn't a long time ago. So no, hesitation can come in many ways. It can just be us safely transporting somebody to somewhere where they need to be, or it could be just letting somebody go.
Well,
And
I am always hopeful that when it does come to those kind of situation and choices,
but no, we have
we
the
don't.
choice to do that. That's the big thing. Some people don't give that choice to others, but we have the choice to handle things in a kinder way. Sometimes the kinder way to the world is something that might be bloody, but the kinder way to, it's even harder, is to be that of forgiveness. But some people will capitalize on that choice, though. It's going to be a hard decision. But if we are able to use all our power to neutralize the situation, and however that may be, that's a tough word. I really don't like common, guys. That's the best way that I can describe it in common, is to make the sea calm. And even that's not right. Okay, to create a tide pool is the way is actually supposed to be said in common, but even then, tide pools are very good. That's how a lot of creatures end up making their homes. But sometimes, if a certain creature in the tide pool is eating all the other creatures, that's not good. If they're sullying the sea, just like as that person did in the tomb. He created a tide pool and he put poison in there. We shouldn't create that tide pool. That's when you open up the tide pool and let the sea just cleanse it out.
By killing him.
I guess so.
Well,
If necessary.
my services can always be provided if that decision becomes too great for you.
Oh, we were talking about that and holding a trident, so if you also want to put your hand on the trident, then
I mean,
Should that be a what?
I mean,
definitely.
This whole conversation, you guys were like, go team on the trident.
I kind of just walked in too. I don't know what to talk about the troll triton thing.
oh,
I
yeah.
guess we do have to do with. If we have to kill, we'll do it together by holding a triton.
Oh no. Hanu will actually take her trident out and look at Babette very sternly as, do you want to touch my trident, Babette?
Well, as Sonera mentioned earlier, doing that physically isn't what we were talking about.
No, I get the concept. It's just being funny.
Oh
yeah,
no.
being funny in a grim conversation.
I know. But the whole thing is, does Babette like my trident and does she want to touch it? She says, waving it around.
He's waving his like at you.
What's with you and the triton?
It's important.
I know it's important, but you know,
Listen,
my gauntlet's important, but I don't like wave in everybody's faces like this.
this is a symbol of greatness to the Tritons and to the Water Genasi. The Trident, look, a spear just has one option. but a trident has many, also 3 prongs. But look, and she will ask Zale to step up, and as she do that, you probably know where she's going with it, and she'll actually disarm you with the trident, just catching the blade and flipping it to the side and dragging it downwards so it gets ripped
Not
away
carry
from
my
your hand.
weapon. So you
And she would have
you
told
was
me.
the
She would have
gauntlet.
told you to take your sword out, though. She'd be like, "Hey, come on." You would.
He was sleeping. He doesn't have a sword.
I know.
on him.
Get your sword, Sal. Oh my gosh, you're so bad when you wake
hands
up.
him-
Del kind of like looks at where his sword at, looks at you, kind of thinking, do we have to?
Fine, you're
Yes.
a wimp. Anyways, Babette, you're not a wimp.
He just walks against the because he's just like, fine.
Gosh, you're very
Grabs a
cranky when
scimitar.
you wake up in the morning, Zale. I would have never thought
Grabs
about that.
the scimitar and he gets his position, kind of like holds it out.
Yeah, and I will just do the basic disarming technique of the trident. You can't do that with a spear. Yeah, you can only just poke and hit with the spear, but you can disarm with the trident. See?
Wow.
We all hold the trident here. She'll hold it up.
Since everybody's waking up and getting energized, I should probably go put on my armor.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can go pick up my sword. So starts walking over to the sword.
I guess I'll whip out my sword.
Cell does not like waking you like sleeping actually. This is like he is a little bit grouchy.
I know. You're very much.
Is this your first time waking up on the wrong side of the bed?
You know what?
Look, let me give you some
Yeah.
advice. Here's what you do when you first wake up and you want to climb out of bed, okay?
Mm-hmm.
First, make sure you're not tangled up in any of the blankets. That will make you fall.
Mm.
Then, if you have the bed up against a wall, make sure you get out the other side. Otherwise, you'll just roll into a wall. It doesn't help anybody. If there's no wall, always get out on the left side of the bed. Always.
Well, that's the problem. Zale's never
I
laid
think
down on the
this is a-
bed before. He always sits on them.
I think that's a little bit of difference, because yeah, what Hanu said, I don't really sleep like
Which is
that.
exactly why I'm telling you, so if it happens again, you know.
I mean, I kind of don't want it to happen again.
But it might.
I am, it might, but I'm just. I mean, unless you knock me out, or. I mean. You see Zell ponder, like, where are the ways I can get fucking back to sleep?
He's all like, please knock me out. Jesus.
So I do have a few questions to pose to all of you, seeing as I am here and not in Avil.
Hmm.
I think my first question would most likely be, what the fuck?
I mean, what the fucking what time? Us?
In regards to what exactly?
This whole situation that I have been brought along on. Is this a common occurrence? Do you often get reported very far away by things that no one was supposed to see? With ancient stories and legends being completely true and just finding that out and being completely okay with it?
No, a little bit of everything. Well, this is the first time we got teleported by like ancient means to a far off place. There actually was this one guy. He's called Team Master. Kind of an asshole. Still kind of a nice asshole.
Well, I
That
mean, you
teleports
barged into his room.
Listen, we don't
And
talk
Zarya's
about
like
that.
putting on the cauldron.
Just like, listen, we don't talk about that.
What did Zarman say?
Well, you kind of barged him into his room.
But yeah, this is kind of a common occurrence. Yes, we usually kind of stumble into things that are kind of crazy. I think crazy
You're
is an
well-meaning
understatement.
mischief makers.
Yeah, I mean that's a nice way of putting it. What we are, for
What
how
Zale
we.
is mostly as he's putting on the other pauldron.
I
What was
love the. I love this whole brother act. This is amazing. It's the most brothery
I
thing.
missed what Zarman said.
It's what Zale is mostly as he puts on the other pauldron.
This is the most brothers thing. And I just look at stuff. It's like, true, very true. Do you want the short version of how we came to be here, or you want the long version? Or you want the most simple one? Or you want the actual facts that are pretty crazy? You're probably not gonna believe me when I tell you.
I mean, at this point, I'm much more susceptible to believing whatever harebrained story you have available. I think we might have time. I would love the long version.
Okay, so all started when we were on an island called Koiko, and
Wait,
I wanted to go explore ruins.
wait a second
I
before you
would
continue.
like to just point out that this does not reflect me or the other me in any way, shape, or form, unless specified otherwise.
Okay, and as we continue further with that, Kat, can you heat up the food a little bit? These two need to eat. He's getting really crappy right now, and Babette
Yes.
needs some spice right now. Okay.
I'll just
I
press
mean-
the digitator.
I mean, the other cat was there, and he kind of was supervising, I guess, in a way. Anyways, we went to a precursor ruins. You know precursor ruins, I think.
Do I? Chance?
Oh, I don't know.
You do know that the precursors are what people call the three races that have disappeared: the orcs, the dwarfs, and the elves.
But I haven't necessarily heard of any ruins.
Well, I mean, they haven't been around for 2,000 years, so pretty much anything associated with them is sometimes called like ruins or artifacts and shit. It's been a long time, so.
Yeah, I know of them.
We went to a ruin, and okay, this part was gonna summarize because it's a lot. We got sent into the future, 15 years. We're actually from 15 years in the past. Originally from
Looks like she's
19.
about to say something and then doesn't say anything.
Yes, originally we were from 1924, and then we were sent here because of the ruins and because something that happened to 1939, and we've been here in this time for about 8 months now. I kind of looked to Hanu.
That's oh yeah. If I remember correctly, you guys were first seen on Dreamfall the first 1939.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I met
We-
them at Dreamfall the 23rd, 1939.
Let me get this straight. 15 years ago, you were exploring precursor ruins.
Yep, on Dreamfall the first 1924.
And then the next year, you ceased to exist.
Oh no, I think the same day
And
we
then
ceased to
for another
exist, if that
year,
makes any
you no
sense.
longer existed, and then you all of a sudden existed again.
Well,
No. In a very technical sense of the term, we never ceased to exist once.
Yes.
Well, they didn't. I kind of did, but that's a completely different story. Anyway, continue, Zale.
Yeah,
Well, before you
Yes.
continue, it's just like opening a door. You're there, and then all of a sudden you go into a new room. They took a literal door through space and time, I think. And then they just stepped into the new room, and it was 1939.
yeah. Basically, if you
I
mix
might.
in teleportation with time travel, sure. But that's the most simplest system.
I'm just gonna ponder that one another time. I think that seems.
Oh, yeah. Here,
It's a lot.
take some
So
wine.
probably
So-
yeah.
Wine and cheese. That's what Alvalian's like here. And she'll point.
But after that whole fiasco, we met up
Very
with Hanu.
terrible. I mean, it's they love it. It's an acquired taste.
The wine here.
The aeration wine.
Yeah. The wine here is not to your palate.
Alien standards. Person drinking dollar wine. Anyway, continue.
After that, we're basically we're in this new time frame. This time, and kind of didn't know what we were doing, so we headed to the closest island, which is Broken Star Bay. Gather some information about the world as we know it has changed, because the whole thing I talked about before. After that, we got a job from the shark to go to Yokeshi, which is another island in the books.
A shark.
Yes.
Yes,
Sounds
not-
like a
Not
creature with
a
skills,
shark.
individual.
Yeah, not an actual shark. But he was a really, really old Goliath. Yeah, definitely Goliath, but very old. Yeah, he tasked us with getting this artifact on this island, getting Yokeshi. So we went to the island on our boat, hired some crew and everything, and went to Yokeshi, and that's where we met Hanu, who was camping there. And you didn't tell me exactly how know we were coming. You foresaw us, right?
As I'm wont to do, I just do things that the moon tells me. And Takaro told me to. Okay, so before then, let's backtrack a little bit further because you were a tiny little oyster sleeping in your shell not too long ago. But I actually ended up okay, long story short, I'm the runaway oracle. Before then, I was known as a little tiny Janasu from this one archipelago who was known as a soothsayer that eventually Victor caught wind of, sailed his ship over to me. I gave him a vision of which ended up being where Koiko ruin was. So yeah, I'm the reason why Victor went to you guys. Long story short, jump into the future. Not too long ago, before Dreamfall, I was given a vision by Takaroa to leave my island, and I ran away from it, and eventually I was just minding my own business. Then he gave me another vision that says, go to this one island, and I was like, hell yeah. So when I went there, I went in the cave. And I met you guys.
Yeah, and that was definitely an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Do I know anything about Takaroa and any of Hanu's business?
No, our first meeting was here in the island.
Takaroa is a name for the moon deity. It's a Southern Isles, Coterie Coast kind of thing.
So I would have heard it, but not really know much about it.
Yeah, like we had briefly discussed like her being Takaro's chosen, but that meant kind of almost nothing to you. But now she's telling you that, yeah, the moon talks to me.
So far, you've told me a concept that I don't really understand, and God speaks to you.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Anyways, I'm also forgetting I need to go contact the hermit. Okay,
So, anyways, after that, we met Hanu. And a little bit before that, before we met Hanu, we actually met this mushroom person that can talk. They're called my accountants. He was really cool. Really, really nice.
Was he a fun guy?
You know what? Do you want to hear the story or not?
I'm sorry.
Yes, we
I
met.
don't remember anything about those.
That was other cack.
Huh.
mhm, mhm.
Other.
I would forget. We'll get to that point. It's coming soon.
Okay.
Because up until this point, it had something to say about the other cack on and off, like just little bits and pieces. And this part is, I don't remember this at all. Huh.
So like, okay, that's weird. But let's go back to the point before my bad had some mental breakdown. In any case, we learned that there was a colony of these people that he had to get back to. He was separated from them because of a Omandori chip was getting involved. Again, there was a lot, so I'm paraphrasing. When we got there, we stumbled upon another precursor ruins, the one that the shark was wanting the artifact from. We found an artifact, met an undead samurai, sorta of dead. He was like a plant.
Right, was he undead or a plant?
I mean,
Like a
you
corpse
know,
possessed.
No,
both.
I don't think he was undead. Trees can live for a long time.
I mean, true,
He was just a
but I mean, he
moving
was a
tree.
person before, and then he he changed himself from a living person to a plant person.
I don't know, so he was still alive. I mean, trees are
Yeah,
still
so yeah,
alive.
he was still alive. He just,
Unnaturally ended his life.
yeah, by making himself into a plant thing, a plant being. Also,
Honestly, that's the least crazy thing I've heard so far. So, continue.
yeah, and that point we made GIF, if which was a person who had the artifact. Let's just say she had attitude. All right, she was not
Do I
nice.
know anything about GIF?
Mm-mm.
No.
Nope. That is
Yeah, I don't
completely okay. Zale, why don't we cut some of that filler out and get to the real and meaning things that
Okay,
are
so
going on.
cut to the filler.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
let's
Like things
let's
like
get to the
Captain
guest more.
Bones would make sense because he's a big outlaw.
I mean, we could be talking about Captain Puzzle, but literally have not seen Captain Bones since we okay. Anyways,
Mhm.
this Captain Bones guy, we had to save up for him. This friend was gonna get, he pretty much was in prison and was gonna get executed because of this Captain Bones guy. Kind of dick. So, but we've rescued our friend in the meantime. Yeah, that all business happened, and then we found out about her orphanage, or at least mine and Lib's, and coincidentally, Howen's. You know, speak of Howen's under there. But anyways, we went to the orphanage, found out there was some really bad shit there, ghosts and possessions, and a weird late cook lady that was really scary. And also underneath, we found this night hag that called herself the Lady of Riddles. Was it right? That's her name? She named herself? No, she was night hag, but I didn't forget her first. No. She was the sister. She was the sister who got
Sister Giselle.
just as I said that got turned into a night hag.
Something like that.
Or
And then we
yeah.
A lot of crazy things underneath buildings.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean, that's not even the least of it. We actually, during that point, there's these crystals. We're in this fight because Night Hag, evil shit,
Oh,
and release the devil.
I assume you're saying this very quietly.
No, he's saying quietly. Yeah.
I mean, throughout this conversation, Hanu would have asked Eliza to just use see invisibility, just see if there's any scrying orbs, because that lasts for like an hour, so like just keep watch.
You're also like alone in the promenade now. There had been like earlier before you arrived, like one other person, or a couple out there that had been there the night before. But they left early on in the breakfast, and it's just been you guys out there.
Cool.
It's about
Yes. And in which case, this was also, in this case, I mean, not the. It was the devil, but it was his avatar, which that's another complicated mess already. So yeah, he got released, so he's in the world. After that,
we decided to go
after
back
that-
to the homeland of these three, and I'll just point to each and every one of them. So
yeah,
I don't think you've ever written a summary report before. Okay.
no, I don't write summaries. I write every single detail.
Okay.
So when you talk
Yeah,
to me,
and it's really
you'll, like-
showing right now. Okay. I didn't know when to step in, but I think we need to step in. Okay.
Like,
Eat your food, Zale. Eat your food. Come on, come on.
What?
Yep. Munch.
You know what? How about we just give her my journal? I literally wrote down everything. If she
You know
wants
what?
to read
Yeah,
it.
because we do need to go teleport soon. But let's just say.
Zell takes out his journal and kind of like passes to you.
I'm
And
going
pretty
to
much
read that maybe once Hanu has summarized everything, because I might need.
Oh, context, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
context.
But the most
Definitely.
important thing, the meat and potatoes. We decided to go back to
What? Where?
oh no. Oh no, that's a saying. It's a saying. It's a figure of speech. But these are
sorry.
yeah.
Continue.
I don't even think they have potatoes in here in New Rod. But anyways,
they don't.
so yeah.
That's why he was all excited. He
I'm
hasn't
like,
seen one
what?
yet. And I was like, potato? Where?
See, that's the thing,
gives-
Zale. That's the good information to make people excited like that. Okay. Anyways,
well, I mean,
we decided to go back to Koiko, where their journey all began. Well, many journeys began there, if anything. So as we went over there ended up being a few interesting kind of side adventures there, but we had to meet the person who raised them. And then she'll briefly explain that we met Arthur, who also was going through a lot of weird time travel shit, too. And then as we did that, we had to go underneath another city in a sewer. You're gonna see a running theme about...
actually, just to cut in real quick, the Arthur that raised us was actually a different Arthur that you met. The other Arthur was actually older than this Arthur. The Arthur that you're meeting now is actually his younger self from a different timeline that we sent.
Well, we don't even know if there's two Arthurs or multiple Arthurs here, but still.
Older Arthur's still here.
I digress, though.
See Zell get upset.
I know,
Like,
I digress. I digress. Okay.
Isn't time travel
to
fun?
just let Hanu speak,
Okay,
because
yeah.
you are adding to my confusion.
Okay, yeah, so we just weird time travel stuff. We went underneath, and you're gonna see a running theme of us going underneath and discovering interesting secrets. But we went underneath this temple to find a secret room after a few adventures and fighting and learning more information and power about ourselves and each other as a group. But we descended into, I'm pretty sure, another reality where we learned more about, I guess, different dimensions and the possibility of what ambition could do to destroy it. But this is where Kek 1.NoFloof was. And as we talked to a certain being that was telling us, I guess, the possibilities of what can or cannot happen, Kek 1.NoFloof learned about Kek 2.Floof. If you want to take this away, Kek.
That would be me.
Mm-hmm. So this weird thing happened. Apparently, actually, I don't know. This is your story to tell, Kek. If you want to take the stage.
Look, all I remember was I was trapped in a dark place for a unknown amount of time. It seemed like forever, but who knows what forever is. And the Kak that they knew learned about me and tried to free me, but in the process ended up disappearing. But I somehow remember some of what he remembers, and I got out, and here I am, and yes, so that's that.
Hanu will turn over to Babette. I'm pretty sure the other Kek is hiding in his floof right now. Anyways, after that, we were supposed to have a nice, relaxing vacation for a bit because we needed to decide what we were gonna do. I'm trying to rendezvous with Tirana, and we were supposed to go to Port Valiant. But during this conversation, when I was going to go retreat into the forest by myself, after doing so much in this world.
Is that a tear, Honu?
Yes, actually water-shaped water. You would have seen a bit of water just come up from a glass and just gently stream down her cheek.
Hana, you're being so melodramatic right now.
I am, but it's okay. Anyways, Zale decided to get into a little bit of mischief. He was trying to go impress a girl, I'm just saying. And he ended up getting him and a few other people teleported to Port Valiant. And of course, I had to send a message over to him saying, what the heck? And yeah, anyways, we got teleported to Port Valiant with a natural teleportation circle, might I add. There was no, instant mummy transporting us. It was just, guy had a teleportation circle in his room. So we, through the laws of magic, got transferred over there. And then she'll go into a brief conversation of us going to the embassy, meeting up with Eliza, and I'm pretty sure Eliza had brought you up to speed, at least, about things over there. So actually, is there anything you want to ask specifically about Port Valiant? Because I'm pretty sure Eliza kept you up and up with that.
Yeah. That's what I told you.
Her account had much less weird shit comparatively.
So, as we are tending to do,
I
okay.
call Connor real quick.
Yeah, what's going on?
Like I kind of like probably keep the thing down though that happened. The other thing.
No, yeah, that's I mean, okay.
Yeah.
You mean? Yep. Okay. Anyways, and Honda gets a big mischievous smile. So what had ended up happening is as we were exploring the sewers, Zale, she whispered really quietly, tried to give somebody a smooch. And it didn't really go that well. Anyways, things happened. We met Eliza and had a fight. We met Eliza's aunt, Bianca. I'm not too sure if you actually met her before. Actually, no, I don't think you would have met her. I think she stated that she grew up on Port Valiant and never left. Now that I remember it correctly.
Eliza didn't have a lot of family visitors, did she?
No.
Okay. Anyways,
She met the Ovalian family.
Yeah, we met her Port Valiant family, as well as the family head of that. So we met her uncle. Oh boy. Okay, anyways, there was a lot of conspiring hands. It seemed like that was going on in Port Valiant. 3 catastrophes happened all at once, or they were supposed to happen all at once, but it seemed by a look, I guess, I don't even know. It's just, gosh, this is really hard to say in comment. But anyways, we created a current that pushed us into a different direction. And because of that, we were able to prevent 3 catastrophes happening all at once, to be one at a time. So we are able to help save Port Valiant from almost total annihilation. And by doing so, we uncovered information that we never had, I guess, with the timeline that Arthur came from. Killam, if you remember. If I told you specifically that he is the champion of Maiko, the Kuji that is in Port Valiant. I think in a way for her survival, she also gave Killam a prophecy. A prophecy that showed what could have happened if we didn't take certain decisions. And through a certain story, we learned vital information that is helping us right now. And I guess we learned a little bit more about ourselves. But anyways, I digress. But after that, we finished up handling things in Port Valiant, and through a great legal battle, well, not really legal since we kind of saved the place, we were able to get hold of the ship that Pridwin had kind of taken from us right underneath our noses. So as we got the ship, we set sail, and the rest is history from there.
Ship that exploded.
Yep. Apparently that ship in the other timeline exploded halfway through the journey, and that thrown us to different places of the world, but that's a story for another day. I'm feeling, because the other person who knows a lot more about that is currently in Uhratian, which we need to go to right now. So if everybody has finished eating, do you have any lingering questions? She glances over to Babette and gives you a nod.
Honestly, once I've had a minute to process this, I would love to look at that journal.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe kind of connect some of these dots that have been laid out before me.
Yep, I'll give you a brief outline, and if you have anything in specific, I'm pretty sure Zale knows what page and paragraph to go look to. He can easily point you there. He is your index. And she'll nod over to Zale.
Oh yeah, I have it like index with like all of them.
Mm-hmm.
If every like key points, I already like. You know what? I don't even want to talk about it. Yeah, just.
You have a table of contents.
Yeah. Yeah. You look just like, did I? Man, being elf sometimes. I have a lot of free time sometimes. So kind of just popping.
Okay. But all in all, we made it out. And we have the unique opportunity to prevent further catastrophe from happening. So the things that we learned underneath the hospital, we could try to help out. I don't know why the Star Runner is rolling, but okay.
Oh, I rolled.
Okay.
Because I was rolling what journal I was going to give her. Because it's just like, because I have 3. And I was just rolling, just in case. I might give her the wrong one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Rude.
Did you give her the one?
No!
Okay.
On accident.
Alright.
So all 3 of them look similar.
I know,
and
so
I
like,
didn't write the title yet.
you never go glance at. Okay, anyways, but yeah.
Yeah, I did the right one though.
But we caught up a little bit with Eliza. I know she stepped out for a bit, but oh, I think she's over there. I waved down Eliza. They're like, okay, well, if everybody's ready. I'm pretty sure Sonera is going to be meeting us over there.
Yeah, what business now?
Oh, she ate with us, set aside, and then she does what she does best.
You mean fly and turn invisible?
Yeah. I mean,
Oh.
I don't think any of us can do that. She's the one who could do it the best.
Imagine Eliza had actually left to go get her equipment because Zarman had been putting his on,
Mhm.
and so she went back up to the room, and that's what actually woke you up, Babette. And she informed you that there was food and stuff down there, and the rest of
Yeah.
the group were, catching up, and that you should go down there, and that's when you stepped into this conversation.
I like that.
And she'd be coming back with a crossbow,
Oh.
it's an old holster on the side of her leg and long coat, looking like she's ready for some vigilante justice. And,
Mhm. And you would have seen that around her waist is a pretty badass looking
Yeah.
sash.
you'd see that she's now got this red sash around her waist. That's the sash of the mummy lord you guys fought.
Considering she got the nat 20 on it, it's well deserved.
What?
Oh, so
What?
you guys,
what
you
is
guys
this
gave it to her. Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you guys scroll up a little
Yeah.
bit, the fortune
Yeah, I
saver, if he rolls, it greatly benefits for her because she can get 2 dexterity from it. So,
Yeah, like it seems like a pretty solid choice to give it to her. To be honest.
What's her dex now?
It's 18 now.
Hell yeah. Same as Zell.
and I'll give Eliza a silent nod, and I motion over to Babette a little, and just that silent agreement of, yeah, when the time is right. But anyways, I look over to Babette and say, well, I can see the tiredness is finally swept away from under his eyes. Are you ready for some adventure, Babette?
Yes.
All right.
I would prefer if the adventure happened in Hearthvine.
I know. So, and she'll.
That's not how adventures work, though.
Look, I just met you. I hadn't necessarily decided I wanted to travel across the mountains with you.
But that's
That
the
was
joy
kind of-
of adventure. Sometimes it takes you to unexpected places.
I have a very familiar terrain that I prefer to traverse.
Shit, that sounds like a first date fucking line. Listen, I just met you. I don't know what we should be doing.
I don't know if we should go into adventure status material right now. You know, this is still the trial phase.
First date, she's
Look,
fucking
you all
lying.
are great people, and you have very good intentions. But
Listen, you're a great guy and everything, but
I think we should just be friends.
yeah.
Anyways, fine. Why don't we take you back so you can go into your place and stop being a little grump right now? Anyways.
Comfort zone.
Yeah, oh my gosh, wow. And Honey will point her trident out to the horizon and swing it over to the area that Sunera said the library is located at. I don't know about you, but I'm walking over there. You guys can follow me if you want. And then she starts walking.
Babette would follow.
To adventure.
Huh.
And that's where we will be picking up
Mhm.
next time, folks.
Beautiful.
Hell yes.
I also love the idea that you guys just up and because Babette would still have looked like miscellaneous